Yes, hello everyone. I hope that you hear me. Um, it's 1 p.m. and we are gonna take a look at the webinar where I'm gonna show you a little bit about balconies. And this is impact for AutoCAD. And on my side here, I have Nikolai. He's gonna be helping me with some or answering some questions. So I see that a lot of people are coming in. So we'll probably get started. And the agenda for today is very simple. We will, right now we are in the introduction, so short introduction to the balconies, and then we're gonna go hands-on on the balconies. And then in the end, if we have some time, we will do a Q&A. Nikolai will be in charge of finding good questions from you. And yeah, if you don't have time to answer all the questions, we will for sure get back to you with the answers through email. So that's great. We will. I will switch my screen to AutoCAD. I hope that you see it. Nikolai, can you maybe confirm?
I see it. Yeah, exactly. I see it from here.
Perfect. Yes, so we're gonna make a pretty simple balcony, but by doing that, we're gonna take a look at all the different functionalities that we might require. And when it comes to balconies in Impact, there are some, we are using the slab command and stuff like that, but we need to do some special things to make it work. So the main reason for that is we can zoom in here. Here I have a cross section of the actual balcony that I'm gonna create. And you can see here that the top is sloping. So this means that, yeah, Impact needs to know the sloping angle. And to make sure that Impact knows that, we need to create individual end caps for each balcony type. So for the same size or like the depth of it or width, that you can reuse the end caps. But if you have a building where end caps are, some are 2 meters, some are 2.5 meters or so on, then you need to make individual end caps. And it's pretty simple. Often you get some sort of cross section, or you have the measurements. Then you just need to draw it like I have done it here. The second step is to create two end caps of this, because we have the back side and the front side. So what I usually do is I take a line and just draw it somewhere here. Now I just draw it, without measuring, but here could be good to measure so that you get a great size of this one, for instance. I usually do it like this, so that the back side is like a smaller one, and then the front side here is longer. And we can also do like this to make sure that we have a slope, and that we do. So with this one, I will use the break, because yeah, I can do it in different ways, but I need to divide this line into two. So I will type break and select my object, and I will click here first point. So the first and end point, because the end point or break point is coming next, should be the same. And when I do that, I get two lines. So do the same here, first point and break point, like this. So now I can delete my help line, and I have my two end caps. So the first issue that we see is that this one is mirrored, because the rule of thumb when it comes to end caps is that we're gonna start on lower left corner, and now we have the lower right corner here because it's continuing in this opening here. So I will mirror this like here maybe, and I will erase original. So this is the end result. Of course, now as we can see here, we have lines. We need to have polylines. So if I join these, I will get the polyline. So that's the first step we need to do. And I prepared it. So we have a set of end caps. It's actually the same cross section, but it's just yeah, it's just prepared. And why have I prepared it? Because we have, when we create an end cap, we have 3 different levels to take into consideration. So the top one here, the database level, is basically what will change your actual geometry in the model. The level 1 is the symbol that you will get on the shop drawing. So I haven't done it, very complicated here, but I've added some line here showing where we are cutting the geometry. I also added a line to show that, yeah, I forgot to add a hatch, but this is like the insulation. So we're gonna add some insulation in the back here. And then level 2 is the symbols that we use in the interface. So for instance, when we later on draw the slab and add the end caps, we will get the symbols here. And yeah, I prepared some end caps. So I have the side and the front, but I don't have the back. So the back end cap is this one. So let's do that together. And it's very simple. You need to make sure that you're in a slab end cap. Click new, and I will call mine back. Then I will select the geometry. So first the insertion point, lower left corner, and then the polyline. Then if I would have prepared some reinforcement or boundary, I could have added that as well, but I don't right now. Then I do level of detail 1 first, so select objects, and I do like this, lower left corner, and now we have the symbols for the shop drawing. And switch to level 2. And we have the symbol for the interface. Great. So that is done. Then I have also prepared the actual geometry. So the reason why I did it was because often you have some sort of reference, and also it's very important that now when I can actually mirror this back to show you, and I will move this so that they meet. So the length of the balcony, that's not important at all, but because we prepared the end caps, we need to make sure that the width of the balcony is the same as the width of the 2 end caps, the front and back together. So if I do a dist here, I see that, okay, it's 2150 millimeters. And if I measure the distance here, I have the same. So that's the first thing that you need to do, because if it's let's say that you have 2.5 meters the distance here, then you will end up with some strange geometry in the meeting. So 2.5 will be like something like this. Oh, sorry. Like this maybe. And in here, of course, in the bottom, it will take the bottom side because it's straight. But here it will take the geometry from the actual thickness of the slab, which in our case is 200. So it will be something like this in the cross section. So that's important to know. But then I will remove this one. Otherwise, we can just start drawing the slab. So we start with taking a look at the definition. I have created one for the balcony here. I don't have any width or tolerance because all the balconies will be in one piece, so I don't need to have that specified. I have my material. Don't have a template right now, but I could have selected one. In the end caps, I want to control them for each individual case, so I have left that I left that open. I have the configuration of 4 and 2 lift points, and 4 lift points is the in the top of the slab, and 2 lift points is what we're gonna use here. So if I would prepare this properly, I could skip the 4 lift points because we're gonna lift it in another way. Don't have any connections here. I could have done it. So for instance, for these connections to the building, I have not prepared that right now, but maybe that could be a good way to use the connections to add the recess and the cast material at the same time. And then just some information here in naming and prefixes and so on. So it's very simple, and I will start drawing. So I have my balcony here. And as I said, we're gonna use another method of lifting. So we're not gonna have like 4 in the top here. So I will say none here. It was none actually. But instead I will go to lift side. And here I have lift side 1 and 2. So basically what that means is that we will get lifts in this side and in this side if we use this method. So I will use my definition, and in the backside, as I have here, I want the lifters to have the capacity of lifting 100% of the elements, because these ones I will use when I like demold it, when I transport, when I handle it on the storage yard. And then in the front side, I will only use them for when placing the actual balcony on the building. So then I have the possibility to say that, okay, here I just need ones that can handle 50%. So we draw it, and we draw a single one. I will use my polyline since I have a reference. And either here I can create my end cap, so I can do it later. Let's do it here. So this is the back side. I click here and see, okay, I don't have back here as I created. And the reason for that is that the filtering of end caps are coming from the definition. So the definition that I created was 200 millimeters, but the end cap, since the top is sloping, it varies the height. So it might be that where I made the cut in the section, it might be that it's like 182 millimeters. I can still apply it. The only thing I need to do is just type it instead. So back, copy to next, or not copy to next, but step to next. And if I step back now, I will see my end cap. Here I do the same. This one was called side. This one was called front. This one was also called side. And I see that I lost my back here, like this. So we apply it, and I can erase my polyline. That's fine. So this is what I end up with: a slab with bigger lifters that can handle 100% of the mass in the back, and smaller ones in the front. And as we know, we only see the end caps in solid mode, so I can switch to solid now. And now we can actually see the end caps. I can switch it to X-ray to see it a little bit clearer. So this is great, but to make it easy to work, I will go back to wireframe. Perfect. So the next thing I want to do is, as I said, in the connection between the balcony and the building, I want to have some insulation, and that insulation I will add. I don't have the measurement here, but I know it's 50 millimeters. So I will add it here, and I will also, I will also add some recesses on top of my lifters here, so that I can, connect it and then add the insulation afterwards. So I have template to make stuff easier for me. So I'll just take it there and copy it to there. So first thing I will do is the recesses. So I will draw my recess. I will do it on the element that's the start. I will come and make a rectangle one from top. I want to have it 200 millimeters, and yeah, say okay, and just draw it like this. And here as well. Up the lifters, yes, we can do that. And we see that they are moved now. I can now also delete my my polylines if I want to. Yes, and the next step is to add the filling. So I will do it the same, but the difference will be that I will add some material down here. And yeah, it's easiest to just do it like this here. I have a lot of snapping on, so that's why it's a little bit difficult. Like this. The lifters, yes, why not? So now I have a great backside of the element. And we can see that I did some mistake here when I drew it, I guess. So I need to modify it. See if I can do it quickly. It's probably when I drew the element. So let's say distance from top 0, and that works better. Great. We can see here that the geometry looks a little bit strange here. I don't know really how you solve it in the real life, but yeah, there are different ways to fix it, of course. Great. The next part, you can see that I have some polylines here. It's for the recesses in the bottom to lower the mass of the balcony. So I will draw them, but I would like to have it as so that they are wide in the bottom and a little bit more or less wide in the middle. So to do that, I will draw my recess, select the element, and here I will select polygon, say that it's gonna be from bottom side and 100 millimeters. Then I will not add mineral wool, so I will say none here, select objects, and yeah, first things is to say, okay, I want to do a double polygon. So first it says polyline of the bottom side, the big one here, then the top side, the smaller one. And then I can repeat it for as many recesses that I have. I do 2 here and say okay. Then I want to update my lifters, and voila, it adds these polygon recesses in the bottom. Great. Now I have a lot of things, but I'm lacking a few things. So the first thing I'm lacking is the dripping nose, so that the water is handled. So that I will do with the feature draw horizontal or draw linear custom material, which was released for slabs in 17. So I have my list shape here. I want to add it in the bottom, no distance or anything, so I say okay. And here I don't have any references, so I will just do it freehand. So, but it's better to have a reference, of course. So something like this. Update lifters, yes, but I want to continue so that I get the whole shape in one piece here. That's pretty good. and I say okay. And we'll see that we're getting the shape here as well. So now we have most the geometry, but we will need to have some cost materials for like railing and other stuff. So yeah, first thing is to, or the easiest way is to just draw manually and place it. But we have some more options. So I will have this draw multiple cost materials. That one I will use for the railing. So first I need to select that I will work on a slab, and then select my custom material. This is actually the one that I want. The rotation is good. Then I want to start here in the back. So here, here, and here. And then say enter. Then yeah, I want to align it to the center. And between the custom materials, I want to have maximum spacing. So I will use as much as I can. The spacing should be 800. And I want to have an offset from the starting point of 400 and from the end point also 400. And they're added like this. So this functionality is not, because as you saw when I started it, I can start it here again. It didn't say select elements. I just selected what type of elements. So if I do a little bit like this, you can see that they are not all in the element yet. But to add them, I will just double click on the element and say add all, and they will end up in the element. And then the last thing, I will add another custom material, and yeah, it's going to be this one on top. So here it's like manual. You can have the jigs so that you see the dimensions, but you also have some options here. So I would like to add this 200 millimeters in Y and X direction from the corner. So use my offset here and say 200, and then offset Y 200, and then I click this corner. Then rotation is 0. Then I want to do the same here, but it's outside. Easy to fix. Offset negative 200, and click it here and enter. And now we also got the custom material like this. And yeah, why not save it and see how it looks like on a drawing. I will name this E1 100 maybe. And I would like to have a drawing for it, so I'll select it here and my template. And let's take a look at the end result. So yeah, I can see here that I didn't prepare this good enough, so tables are clashing a little bit. I will do it like this. Otherwise, we have everything here dimensioned, and since I had the correct or the total width in my polyline, I have it like this, even though that I created the the fillings for the installation. Here I can also have the hatches if I would have a hatch for the material that I used. In this case I don't, but it's easy to configure. And if we take a look at the finished drawing, it looks like this. So it's a little bit basic with the end caps and so on, but yeah, you have pretty much everything you need. And of course you can continue work on the shop drawing, add details, add sections and so on to also add components and so on. But here you have a pretty good element. And if we go back to the project manager here, I will share that screen and I update the model. We'll also end up with a pretty nice geometry here as well. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So of course, this was a simple balcony. You can have more complex shapes and so on, but it's pretty much the same steps that you need to do. And yeah, a good idea is to create a polyline of the geometry and draw the slab according to that polyline. Then you get it automatically. And then, as I also said, I didn't add the connection custom materials here for the building, but that you can probably configure as a connection in the slab so that you just click it out and you get the recess and the component in the correct placement automatically. Yes, Nikolai, did you get any interesting questions?
Miracle as it is. Not a single question, Linus. I think you were very thorough. Very, very
Yeah,
thorough. Great training webinar. Can you rotate the elements so we look from below?
of course.
There we go. I was just thinking, for those of you, maybe if you didn't follow along that good, you know, Linus, he put in this at the bottom, these recesses at the bottom of the balcony slab. But
Yes.
yeah, no questions from me. So a question round, there is none now. As Linus mentioned, you're very welcome to send in your questions if you think of something later, or if you're sitting and doing it yourself, if you're already a user of Impact, send us the questions in through our portal. You're very welcome to do that, of course.
Great. Then, yeah, maybe we should end the webinar. Of course, as usual, we will upload a video to both our YouTube channel and isn't it that also we send it by email, Nikolai?
I think it comes out automatically through an email
Yeah.
from the system as well for you guys. Yeah.
Perfect. Yes. Great. So thank you everyone attending, and thank you for the assistance, Nikolai. Great having
That
you
was
as
not
always.
a lot of assistance, but thank you for like a crash course in balconies, Linus. Half an hour, then you know what you need to know.
Yes, absolutely.
Great.
Super. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye.